All right, today we are diving into one of the most compact yet absolutely explosive poems you'll ever read, Anne Sexton's Small Wire. Now, it's only 4 lines long, but trust me, it packs a whole universe of pain, faith, and, believe it or not, radical biology. So the poem just throws you right in with this image, a picture of immediate, almost unbearable tension. You can feel that, right? This huge, heavy thing and this tiny, fragile thing that's somehow holding it up from falling into nothing. It's a feeling in your gut before it's even a thought in your head. But here's the thing you absolutely have to get about this line. What Sexton is describing here, this isn't just some clever metaphor. No, no. It's a confession of a life lived right on the very edge. It's a diagnosis of a belief system held together by the thinnest possible thread. And you know what? It's a trap. One that's designed to pull you, the reader, right onto that wire with her. Okay, so let's get into this thin wire. Sexton makes it crystal clear that this isn't some abstract idea. She says it's just a thin vein with blood pushing back and forth in it. Whoa. So faith isn't some idea up in the sky. It's a biological process. It's this wet, red, living thread that's somehow holding up the entire weight of God. Now, to really get our heads around this, we're going to use a method called syncretic criticism. Sounds fancy, but all it really means is that we're going to look at this poem from every possible angle. Sexton's life, what the poem does to our brains, its wild philosophy, and see how all those pieces lock together to tell one single powerful story. And the first angle, the most important one, is Sexton herself. You simply cannot separate this poem from the body that wrote it. For Anne Sexton, that thin vein wasn't just a random image, it was the very site of a lifelong war. And when you see this, it completely reframes the poem, doesn't it? For Sexton, her own body, her circulatory system, was a literal war zone. You're talking lithium, shock therapy, constant hospitalizations. These were all battles fought inside her own veins. The poem, then, isn't just a poem. It's a direct report from that battlefield. So what we're really seeing here is Sexton using the grand epic language of faith and God to talk about something brutally personal, her own day-to-day precarious survival. The wire holding up the heavens is the exact same one she could feel pulsing in her own wrist. Okay, but the poem's power isn't just in what it means, it's in how it works. The way it's actually built is a kind of biological hack. It's designed to literally manipulate your brain and pull you into that same state of high wire tension she's feeling. And this is how it does it. It's brilliant. The short lines feel like a nervous, stuttering heartbeat. Those ellipses, that pause, that's the moment right before something snaps. Your brain, my brain, our brains anticipate disaster, that the wire is going to break, and get this, it actually rewards us with a little hit of dopamine. The poem makes us addicted to the feeling of almost falling apart. So this isn't an act of worship. It's a ritual of addiction, an addiction to tension, to the breaking point, to that feeling of almost falling. It's a prayer, sure, but a secular one, performed in what the source analysis so perfectly calls the asylum of the body, where the only thing you're praying to is your own pulse. And this addiction, this tension, it all leads us to the poem's most radical, most shocking idea. It completely flips the entire script on the relationship between us and, well, God. Just look at this. I mean, this is sheer heresy. Traditionally, right, we're the fragile ones. We depend on an all-powerful God. But Sexton, she flips it completely. In her poem, God is the fragile one, desperately dependent on our pulsing vein just to exist. He becomes the parasite, and we are the host. The logic here is just absolutely brutal. Can you imagine trying to live by this poem's logic for just 24 hours? It would be terrifying. Every single heartbeat becomes a choice you have to make, a choice to keep this needy, dependent God alive. Every moment of doubt is a dangerous tug on that wire. So we've seen the wire as biology, as psychology, as theology, but hold on, because there's one final, mind-bending interpretation that changes everything. This is what you might call the black swan reading. What if the great weight being held up isn't really faith or God? What if it's something else entirely? And here it is. This is the ultimate secret. The small wire is language. The poem is actually about writing. Anne Sexton is hanging her entire unbearable consciousness on the thin, fragile thread of words, of syntax, of poetry. God is just the biggest, heaviest idea she can possibly think of to prove her point. For her, to cut the vein is to stop writing. And if she stops writing, everything falls. And so we're left with this incredible paradox. The act of creation, the biological fact of just being alive, the faith we hang on to, it's all suspended on this one tiny wire. It feels impossibly strong because, hey, it's holding. And yet at the same time, it has never, ever felt thinner, which of course brings the poem's question right back to us. The analysis is over, but that feeling remains. So take a second. Feel the pulse in your own wrist. What's the great weight it's holding up for you? What wire are you holding?